Hi, and welcome to my very sick Valentine's Day. I'm getting over a cold right now. If you do hear my voice cracking or I just kind of lose it or it's hoarse, that is what is happening. Today, I just wanted to go through some of the products that I talked about from my 2 years empties video. There were so many products, there were over 200. I feel like I kind of had to speed round, go through everything. So some of the things that I mentioned that I really liked or really didn't like, I didn't really get to talk about. My credentials are all of this, and that's not all. And then I also have this entire Lululemon bag, plus a few other things in here. I would say I tested at least a couple products. So for this video, I have my flops from the past 2 years as well as my faves. Hi! You may notice that I look a little bit different right now. I was going to have both of my favorites and least favorite products in one video, but it was starting to get a little bit long, and on top of that, I got a really bad cold. On top of that, I was also traveling for work, so my schedule was just kind of crazy. So instead of doing another really long video, I just decided to split it up into 2 different parts. So I hope that you want the bad news first, because I'm going to start off with the flops today, but I will see you soon with my favorites. The thing that was a little bit challenging is if you compare going through a blush versus going through a body wash, like you can go through a body wash in a matter of weeks. I have blushes that are at least 2 years old. So here are my empties and my flops. Actually, oh my gosh, no, I have things in here that are not flops. Oh my God, get those out. And this is just my wishy-washy disclaimer. Just because I did not like this product does not mean that you will not like it. These are just things that either didn't work for me for whatever reason, or they didn't do what I originally thought that it was going to. Like, it just didn't meet my expectations. Some of these products, though, I actually would not recommend to people, so there's also that as well. Maybe I should start off with the hate. Starting off, this is one that just absolutely did not work for me, like at all. So this is a Super Goop low setting powder. As you can see, there's so much product left in here. It looks like I barely used it. I kind of just wanted something to set my makeup throughout the day, especially in the summer if I start getting a little bit greasy. This is just essentially a straight glitter bomb. I'm just gonna put some on my hand really quick. Oh yeah, and I also went to Sephora today to pick something up, so I still have some swatches on my hand. Oh, you can kind of see it there. I didn't really buy this just for the sun protection. It was more just for like setting, and I was like, okay, if it gives me a tiny bit of SPF and like a tiny bit more coverage, that's a plus. But on my face, like, I found this completely unusable, and I did try and use it actually as an eyeshadow a few times, which I liked it a lot better as an eyeshadow. This was just something where I can see it being really fun if you do want like a full glitter face that day, but just for like day to day or like a quick touch up, it just didn't work for me. And I can maybe think like who this would be for, but I just don't really see a lot of people being able to use this on like a daily basis. And the next thing that I would not recommend to pretty much anyone is the Neutrogena Clear Face Serum Sunscreen. And this is actually an SPF 60 plus, so this is something that I did buy to give me some protection from the sun. I managed to use this up, but I have like a dramatic experience with this. In the summer, I like to go paddleboarding a lot. And when you go paddleboarding, you are just out in the open sun on a lake when it's like 80 to 90 degrees. And you're hot and you're in the direct sun and there's sweat and water and everything. It says won't clog pores, but it clogged up my contacts because I'm also blind as a bat. I have to wear contacts every single day of my life. Like, it is not even an option for me. This got in my eyes and it hurt so bad. Like, I was driving home and I just remember my eyes were burning, and I got home and I just took out my contacts. I couldn't even like open my eyes because they were so sensitive to the light. I just had to sit in bed with my eyes closed, just waiting for like the pain and the sensitivity to subside. It like absorbed into the lenses. I'd washed them out really well. I went to put them in my eye the next day and it was still burning. So I did manage to use this up, but I only used it on days where I knew I was not going to be on water. I was not going to be sweating. There was no chance that this would get into my eyes. This is something that is also pretty common with a lot of American sunscreens. That's one of the big reasons I have made the switch over to either pretty much all Korean or all mineral sunscreens. I've been burned, like literally my eyes have been burned one too many times. So this is just something that is a no for me. The next one is something that has been reformulated. It's the Sephora Collection Melting Cleansing Balm. Part of me is like, is it fair to talk about a product that doesn't even exist anymore? The answer is maybe, but I'm going to do it anyway. I won't go too in-depth about this. It just was not really taking off my makeup, or it was taking off a little bit, but just not as well as a lot of the other cleansing balms and cleansing oils that I have. It just, if you see this on sale or anywhere, like, I would pass. Another thing, the Sun Bum Night Cream. I have really dry skin, and this to me just did not give enough moisture, and it's very thick. It took a little bit of extra time to like really melt into my face, if that makes any sense. Was not a huge fan. Next one for sunscreen, this is the Daily Dose Bioretinol Mineral SPF. This one I like more because if it did get into my eyes, it did not burn. My only qualm about this is it was very oily, and like I mentioned, I have dry skin, so usually any amount of like oil or moisture that I can get, I will take that. This was just something that had crossed that line into too oily. It had a little bit of a tint to it, like not enough to give a ton of coverage, but I felt like it did kind of even out my skin a little bit. So I really wanted to like this product. It just did not work very well for me. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm very picky about sunscreens apparently, which, yeah, that makes sense. I use them every day. So another one that did not work for me was the e.l.f. Sun Touchable Whoa Glow. It's very similar to that Supergoop Glow SPF, but I do find that the e.l.f. formula is a little bit more glittery. This was really something I could only use under foundations and under a full face of makeup. This to me was just another glitter balm that finally did it for sunscreen. Another one that I was rushing to get through was the Naturium Multi-Peptide Advanced Serum, and I wanted to like this because I feel like this is a lot of people's holy grail. I didn't see a huge difference after one bottle, which, you know, for skincare, usually they say to give it a few weeks to a couple months. I like the formula and I like the texture and I wanted to like it, but I could not handle the scent of this. This smelled like hot dogs. Listen, like, I love a hot dog, but I just couldn't deal with my face, and I know that's also a common complaint with vitamin C serum, so I'm not really sure what does it, because I always thought it was the vitamin C, so I don't really know why this also smelled like hot dogs, but maybe it's just like a formulation thing. Maybe I got a bad one. I do not know. The smell was just, I couldn't do it. This was something recommended to me by an esthetician, so I really wanted to like this, and she talked very highly of it, which is the Hero Rescue Balm Post Blemish Recovery Cream. This, I mean, it has good ingredients. I'm gonna like butcher this pronunciation. Oligopeptides. Again, with the peptide stuff, I wanted to like this. I didn't really see a big difference, but I was still like, okay, like, I'll put it on dark spots. And I was using it, and then at some point the top broke, and then I just had to pan it. Kind of sad, but maybe not something I would repurchase. Even though it looks very full still, you only need like a little tiny bit. So I feel like I did use this enough to give a review, and I just didn't notice enough of a difference. The last face skincare product is these Innisfree Retinol Cica Focusing Patch. This is one where it has little micro needles in it. My thought with this was, oh, I won't need to like pop my pimple, or I can put this on one where it doesn't have like a whitehead or something, and it'll help like inject the stuff into my face. I just didn't really notice any difference. I would put this on a zit that like didn't have a whitehead or something, and there would be like no oil absorbed by the time I woke up in the morning. So I think I just had expectations for this that it did not meet. But the idea is that this has micro needles, and it'll make tiny pockets to hold the ingredients for spot care for troubled areas. Like I said, just did not make a difference. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. I did not meet. I was not a huge fan of the Being Frenchy Milky Body Lotion. It was just a little too light, and I have used Frenchy body wash in the past, so I did want to like this, but to me the lotion was just a little bit of like a weird texture. It kind of had like a weird feeling when it dried down. It just was not for me, even though I love a lot of their scents. And also another product from the same brand is the Lavender Cloud Body and Hair Radiance Oil. This is just something that I feel like it just didn't do enough as a hair oil or as a body oil. Tried using it on my hair. I actually liked it a lot more for my hair, and if this works for you, like, this is a 4-ounce bottle, so this will last you forever, as a hair oil. As a body oil though, I just did not find this hydrating enough to be a body oil. Unfortunately, even though I love their scents, like these two just did not work for me. Shampoo and conditioner from Amika. This is their Hydro Rush line. I wanted to like this because my hair is wavy and my waves look a million times better when they are hydrated. Hydro Rush is supposed to be their like intense moisturizing line. The ironic thing is I did not think that this was moisturizing enough for me. This is recommended for people who either have dry hair or if you go to like hair types like 4A to 4D. My hair is not that thick and I just did not really see anything from this. This was also a no. And then just a couple mascaras to round this out. Another flop for me, unfortunately, was the Milani highly rated lash extensions tubing mascara. I think they got a little ahead of themselves with the name. I was like, ooh, a drugstore tubing mascara. If this works, I will only be buying this for like the foreseeable future because like I want to save money. It kind of flaked on me. And then when it came to take it off at the end of the day, one of my favorite things about wearing tubing mascaras is when you take like the warm water and you can physically pull them off like with like your finger, like going like that, and then they just all come off. You can go like that. Like, I love it. I look forward to that. And this just did not give me that. And I did like the way that it wear. I like the way that it looked, but it was not tubing enough for me. Here's another one. You know her. You love her or you probably hate her. I hate her. I'm so sorry. This is just the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about this. This has been around for forever. I think when it came out, it was supposed to be like the volumizing mascara. To me, after a little bit of time, this just turns into a flaky mess. Some days it is just not even wearable for me. On top of that, it also dries out pretty quick. So the general rule for mascara is you are supposed to replace your mascara about every 3 months. And this did not even make it to 3 months, even though it was closed for most of the time because I wasn't using it daily. And like this dried out so fast in comparison to other mascaras that I had. And those were my flops for, oh gosh, 2024 and 2025. A lot of sunscreen in there. I realized when I was going back and editing this. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to hit that subscribe button. I am done being negative and I get to talk about things that I really, really loved. It's a little controversial. It is the craziest thing to watch. This is my drugstore favorite and this is my high-end favorite. I didn't want to like it, but now I have an addiction. So I'm surprised that got #1.